started, either later tonight or tomorrow, and then I'll send you the link so you can go back and check it out afterwards. But okay. What got you interested in coaching?
Well, mostly for been hovering around Overwatch a lot. Now that I got interested into Overwatch 2 again lately. First 2 seasons was not the same. Started enjoying ranked a bit more. I just wanted to see if someone can be of help. And
sure.
Well, you're pretty well known. I followed you beforehand.
Okay. Sounds good. So break me down your path with Overwatch. When did you start playing? And I see you play tank. So when did that officially start?
Yeah, I started playing Overwatch in late 2016, like season 3-ish. Mostly casual. I was hard stuck bronze until I locked tank and got out of there. I played Overwatch consistently, more casual until 2019-ish, to the point that I got a degree with a thesis related to Overwatch.
Nice. What happened?
It was the localization of Overwatch 1 in my native language.
Okay.
Yeah, it was interesting because most of the professors watching were like, "What is this guy talking about?" But you get what you get.
I know how it is. I go get a haircut and they're like, "What do you do for work?" And I'm like, I coach. Oh, what do you coach? Overwatch. I know how that goes. Yeah. So.
Yeah, exactly. Then played mostly Rein. I've been screaming since 2019, 2020-ish with national lockdowns and whatnot, and managing. But mostly trying to force myself in playing tank because it was in general the least mechanically demanding role, and that's one of my biggest weaknesses. And the satisfaction of guiding an army, if you get what I mean.
Yeah. I mean, Rein is one of the first heroes that I picked up in the game. I think I have more hours on him than I think any other tank. Well, maybe. Yeah. He's my 4th most played hero. My most played tank. Yeah. So, yeah. Okay. So you are currently plat now?
Now I picked plat 2 last week. Now I'm back to plat 5.
Okay. So what has your ranked process been? I see gold 1 as you filled out the form. Now you're plat. You hit plat 2. What ranks were you in Overwatch 1? You talked about you worked your way out of bronze through tank. What were you over the last, I guess, 6 months? Or I guess just before Overwatch 2 even as well?
Camping, seesawing between high gold and low plat on tank, and gold on support and bronze on DPS, but doesn't matter as much.
Okay. So what has happened recently that's allowed you to get to your peak plat 2? What do you think?
Probably, to make things straightforward, I played the game. I used to play only every now and then because at the very start I did not enjoy Overwatch 2 as much as Overwatch 1. The 1-2-2 wasn't for me at the beginning. Now, maybe because Rein buffs or for other reasons, but I started playing the game more with alone or with friends, ranked and whatnot. Started enjoying it, and I don't know exactly the reason why per se. Sure, buffs and whatnot, but it's not that per se. I don't see if my best heroes are nerfed to the ground. That should change.
Yeah. I mean, it's really the best way to improve is to just play the game, and that's 90% of the time when it comes to people improving. I mean, I can help a little bit with coaching and stuff, but a lot of it is just you played and you played more. So okay. So looking at your goals here, short-term climb consistently out of gold and be able to stay in plat. Well, at least it looks like to an extent you've been able to do that, even though you're plat 5 right now. Long-term, someday reach diamond. Okay, so what is it about diamond that appeals to you so much?
Mostly because as of now, I don't wanna commit to this game fully to play it, and I don't know, hit GM. I don't have time. Currently, I cannot afford better hardware, so it's still.
What are you currently playing on?
I play on 40 frames laptop.
Okay. I mean, I started on a laptop as well. So
yeah, exactly. But like, I know people who hit GM on 30 frames, or I think someone in Overwatch 1 was deaf or something like that. So in general, Diamond is more like, I guess for now, at least to be able to stay in plat, not drop to gold and stay back in gold.
Sure.
Like it was often the case in Overwatch 1 for me.
Yes.
Diamond is just the one after.
I see.
Then if I'll ever hit Diamond and be able to stay in Diamond consistently, maybe we'll talk about Masters, but that's for eventually later.
Sure. I mean, it's all about like what you're gonna what your hardware is gonna allow you to do, how much time you're gonna be able to put in the game, and so on. So okay, makes sense. I mean, it's also, I think gold is like the average, plat is slightly above average, and diamond is you're good at the game. Your top 10% of players as well, so you can kind of get that mental check mark, I guess, checked off. Okay, so anything additional like that? No, 40 frames per second. He's based. Okay. What do you
I mean, ironically, yeah, you're based. Just coaching and content.
Thank you.
Best of both worlds.
Thank you. I appreciate it. In-game username LHPlat. That's funny. What do you hope to get out of the session? Find a path to improvement that is not only about sheer in-game changes, but also including them. Improving my game knowledge further, as I really like the aspect both inside and outside of the game. Is that what appealed to you about my content? Was some of the more the game knowledge stuff?
That too. Like, because it can be used both to improve and just, like, what's the objective of what you're playing? What's going on?
Yeah. I mean, I enjoy it just for the sake of learning, like I'm at a point now to where like it's just fun for me to kind of theorize and figure out different things just because it's fun, Okay, so I guess let's start to talk about like the execution of your goals, what you need to be doing to get to diamond. What does your training schedule look like? How much time do you have to play the game right now?
Not like consistent, but from 5 to 6, from like 5-ish to 6 days a week.
Okay.
I play, depends, can be 1 or 2 games, or can be an entire tilt queue where I lose 15 games.
Okay. Let's put it this way. If you were to train optimally with the amount of time that you have right now, what would you be aiming for?
Probably 2 hours or so. For like, if I were to put like set hours per day, not change it. 2 hours or so, 4 to 5 days per week, depending on availability.
Well, you can hit diamond with that. You can absolutely hit diamond with that amount of time. So that's around 10, 12 hours a week. Yeah, we can work with that. We can absolutely work with that. Okay. So it's going to be about, how those hours are spent. Because as you said, if you're spending basically 1 or 2 games and then alternating that with these massive runs of tilt queue, obviously not going to really work out. So what do you think the optimal use of that time would be for you right now? Like if let's say you have a 2-hour block today, how is that going to look like in terms of ranked, warm up, quick play? What does that look like?
It's mostly ranked. I usually, before hopping in ranked, do like what I like to call a hardware check, where I play like either I go in custom games or I go in quick play to see if like everything's all right. Because usually the first game I find myself on 3 digits ping for no reason and whatnot.
Yeah.
And it's not related to like where I live or the servers. It's always the case.
Okay.
And then it goes back to like Southern Europe ping, which is okay.
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense. So 1 quick play game, something to just kind of check it out, and then just ranked after that.
Yeah, usually.
And here's the great thing, okay? That's it. That's good enough. You don't need that. That's all I've got to say. That sounds fine. If you do that consistently, as much as you consistently can, then we are totally fine. Now, we'll get to the aspects, the things that's preventing you from doing that consistently, I'm sure, in a few minutes. Okay, so in terms of hero pool right now, obviously you're the Rein guy, but you say as well, Rein, Winston, sometimes Orisa, and Junker Queen. What does your breakdown of those heroes look like? Do you have your career profile? Like, are you on your laptop right now, or are you on your phone, or...?
No, I'm on laptop, but I can launch the game in a second.
I'd be curious to see what your competitive seasons
the
look
most like. The most played is Rein by a long shot, and it's like very, very long shot.
Mm-hmm.
Then
yeah,
with
can you stream
Overwatch,
or can you just screenshot it?
Yeah, sure.
Because you could just do print screen and then Control V in the Discord chat, and it should.
Yeah. Did screenshots for tournament as player or manager.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, it's another thing about like the frames where I didn't play the game. I was just managing teams in plat. You want current season or all seasons?
Both. Thank you, by the way.
So, where is it? Screenshot with champions. NA Kochi. Okay. Okay, found it.
Perfect.
1 second. I don't remember if it still takes into account Overwatch 1. If you see quite a bit of Orisa, it's because I preferred Overwatch 1 Orisa over Overwatch 2 Orisa every day.
Makes sense.
I wanted to shoot shields. Oops. Oh well.
Yeah. Okay. 6 Rein, 2 Winston, some etc. heroes just for fun. All competitive seasons total 2210. Okay. So you don't have a lot of hours in comp.
No. Like more way. I'm looking at. It doesn't show season 2 for some reason, but I'm looking at season 1 of Overwatch 2, and I won 14 games. On tank, which is nothing.
You don't have much comp in Overwatch 2, is what I'm noticing specifically.
Yeah, exactly.
And a lot of those hours are spent just kind of playing a little bit of other heroes just for fun. Which, I mean, I get you. I mean, if I were to show you my career profile right now, it's like I played a lot of different heroes just to try out. I played a lot of off-meta stuff, Orisa May, Hanzo, Brig, Sigma.
I also have another account that I used to use more. If you want, I can send you that as well.
I mean, it's fine. If it looks anything like this is good enough. Basically, my concern...
It's still Rein Monkey, and occasionally Orisa.
So your breakdown is okay within the tanks, right? Like, you play mostly Rein Winston, a little bit of Orisa, a little bit of Ball, and so on. I would say I would definitely cut out things like I see a Roadhog, I see a little bit of Wrecking Ball. If you're playing 2 hours a day, you generally want to be playing only 2 tanks. 3 is okay, maybe a 4th every now and then is okay as well, but you want to be condensing and be efficient with your time, essentially, right? My concern, though, is twofold. One, you have a lot of time on DPS and support. Like almost as much as tank if you add up all the hours, right? And then you also just don't have a lot of hours of competitive, right? Like if you're playing an average of like, let's even say 8 hours of competitive a week, you should be at pretty much double or triple these numbers, right? But you're not. Why do you think that is?
I think it's split between me, this, and another account, obviously. But probably because actually I used to have one account where I try to climb and whatnot, and another one because I play in a team in like somewhere in low plat, where I used to play the heroes like they didn't play as. That's how I got into Junker Queen, for example.
Okay, makes sense. Kind of helping them out, filling what they needed or whatever.
Exactly. For the most part. But alongside that, it's because until last season, like I didn't have myself the feel of like solo queue
Got
or
it.
even duo, at least not on tank. I
Okay.
felt like I was just inting my brains out and
Okay.
like didn't know what to do.
Okay.
Now I still don't know what to do, but like slightly better.
Yes. At least you're moving in the right direction. Like you said, you're at least playing the game. So I don't know how many of these hours are more recently or whatever, but like that needs to be the number one goal for you, is to play solo queue, have fun, don't stress yourself out, focus on the tanks that you enjoy playing, and just chill out. You know, it's the biggest thing there. Now, piggybacking off of that, what do you feel is holding back from improving? I'm going to skip the mechanics part. I'm going to get to the mentality. Mental is questionable, as I can be hot-headed towards both my teammates and myself, and tilt. Elaborate, please.
Simply put, the average ranked player, where the average ranked player that might like not be very polite towards teammates sometimes if they're eating their brains out. Not every game, thankfully, I'm not at that level. And or to myself, like when I feel myself, I just go down where I just go down, be like, bro, I'm so shit. What am I doing?
Yeah.
Like and then I either have, quote unquote, have to stop queuing or set queue, if you want to call it like that.
Yeah. Well, have you tried working at that?
Not yet, because for now, I guess my something resembling a point of focus as more being the game itself, rather than the mental.
Sure.
It's also mental is also a hindrance in other multiplayer games I play with friends.
Okay.
In others more than Overwatch, and some more spots.
Well, what about the mental? Is it getting frustrated at yourself, getting frustrated at teammates? You said a little bit of it in the forum, but I want to elaborate a little bit about what exactly is the issue here.
Frustrated at myself, simply put, if I'm feeding my brains out, or I think I'm doing so, sometimes, or I think I'm doing so, just sadness, like, bro, I'm shit, I shouldn't be here, what am I doing? It happened like not in the code I sent you, but in another code where I was like, it was like a +1 lobby, something like that, where I thought I was inting my brains out, and like my supporting comms were trying to say, no, you're doing fine, don't worry.
Okay. Well, you're gonna have to get comfortable with that to an extent, because if you're ever going to like learn how to improve, the fastest way to learn how to improve is to do a little bit of educated inting, right?
Yeah.
Like you have to experiment a little bit. Like you have to try different strategies and different approaches about what you need to be doing to get better. Because if you're not comfortable taking risks, you can improve, but you're just going to improve so much slower. It's just how it is. So I guess like when you get frustrated at yourself for not playing well, I mean, playing well is relative, right? Like, let's say that you work at this and you get better and you play Diamond, okay? You're going to go back and look at your good plat games and be like, man, I was inting, right? There's never, you're never going to be, it's never going to be quite good or perfect gameplay, you know? There's always going to be parts of it that are going to be not great, and there's always going to be parts that are going to be decent enough. So for you, it's like, don't necessarily judge the quality of play based off of how you feel that you're performing. For right now, judge the quality of play based off of whether you're actually focused on trying and learning and improving, right? If I go into a game and I'm actively working on an aspect of my, let's say my Mei gameplay or my Brig gameplay or my Ramatra gameplay, if I'm at least focused on something and improving at that one thing, then it doesn't really matter what my performance as a whole looks like, right? Because I know if I start getting caught up and focused on my performance, then I'm distracting myself from something that I should be practicing. Do you kind of see what I'm saying?
Just like the result doesn't matter. Like win-loss, KD, they don't matter.
Especially in Overwatch. Like, I mean, I've made so many videos talking about how like the game is like unlike anything else you ever do in real life, because you just re-queue, you know? Like you just re-queue. You could imagine if you had like you were taking a speech and debate class, and you had a really, really bad speech. Like you said a lot and you couldn't make eye contact and you paused and hesitated and stuttered. But then you're just like, all right, guys, I'm going to try that again. And you just started all over again. You got a new grade. And you kept doing it until you got it right. That's Overwatch ranked, right? You have so many opportunities to try again. And because you have so many opportunities, that means that it's actually better to try weird crap because you don't get punished for trying things. The worst thing that's going to happen is you de-rank and then you rank right back up again. I mean, have you heard of Awkward, the Flex support player guy that does all the unranked GMs?
I know the name, but I don't follow him.
I think he took like 9 or 10. I think it was like 10 or 12 games. I might be wrong, but it was somewhere around that vicinity to go from unranked to top 500. Now, he's a great player. You're not a great player. But my point is that if you don't belong in a rank, you're going to move fast. So if you throw a bunch of games because you're experimenting and you drop all the way to freaking low gold silver, you're not going to be stuck there for 7 seasons. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You'll jump right back. So exploit that. Leverage that. Experiment. Theorycraft. Test. Practice. And to me, if like you said, if this has been a hindrance for you in other games, then this means it's even more important for you to fix this because this is something that... How old are you?
I'm 26.
Might as well learn now, Might as well learn now. When you get my age, a whole 2.5 years older than you, then you're gonna really gonna wish you had that skill set because like that kind of stuff is always useful to know. It's a good skill to have, right?
Yeah.
So I know this pep talk isn't exactly going to be like the turning point for you at all, but I would work at this because at the very least that and playing the game more are the most important things that you need to be doing moving forward. More important than any sort of gameplay feedback that we're going to look at in a few minutes. If you have like a bad attitude or you get frustrated at yourself or teammates, it's a distraction from improvement. If you're not playing the game enough, you're not going to improve. So treat Overwatch not like a video game that you're going to climb the top 500 at, but treat Overwatch like your mentality practice. You know how you get up and you do your exercise, or you do your study, or you work, or you brush your teeth. Overwatch is your mental toothbrush, where you're going to put yourself doing something that should be fun, but might push you to be a little bit frustrated, but you have to push through it. You have to learn how to do it. And trust me, I've played EU ranked before. I know what EU ranked is like. It is the garbage can. It is their most racist, trash.
No one speaks English.
Yes, flaming each other. It is a dung heap. So all the better for you to practice this. Because if everyone was sweet and giving you kisses on the cheek, then you wouldn't really be practicing your mental, would you? You gotta forge your stronger mental in the fires of EU ranked. And I mean, honestly, not only learn how to deal with it, learn how to just completely ignore it and just enjoy the process regardless. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Then, this is obviously a small thing. Should I just quote unquote make it harder? Should I just abstain from mute chat, hide chat, leave chat, and whatnot?
It's up to you. If you feel like right now being in voice and being in team chat would be too much of a distraction right now, and that you get frustrated at your gameplay and you get frustrated at the complete Neanderthal teammates that you have, then maybe don't join voice right now. So just focus on keeping yourself calm and focusing on your own gameplay. And then when you feel like, I'm doing all right mentally, I think I can put on some extra weight. then you join voice, see how that goes. When I play, I don't have the time or interest or the energy to learn to deal and cope with voice, so I don't join voice. However, if I were to commit myself seriously to playing this game again, then I would want to join voice just to kind of force myself to kind of learn how to not deal with distractions. That's what I would do. But again, I'm doing that not because I'm synergizing, but because I want to learn how to deal with that. But that may be too heavy for you right now is my point. Be honest with yourself. You wouldn't get under a bench press or a squat and throw in 400 kilograms, right? No. Too much right now. So for you, you might be in a position where you need to challenge for your mentality, which might just be playing the game consistently. That might be challenge enough. Playing the game consistently and not tilt queuing. Maybe that's the first step for you. And then when we can consistently get better at that, then we can turn on team chat. And then when people stop and you learn to start dealing with people, flaming you and calling you the N-word in team chat, then we join team voice and then we can go from there. Right. That would be my suggestion. And you may not even ever get there, but if you're at least in a better state mentally, stronger than you were before, then you've learned something from Overwatch. Like, get something out of it besides getting good at the game. You know, learn a skill. Because I think getting good at anything and like learning to kind of deal with your own self-doubts is like, that's a super cool skill to have. It's not just video games. That's my take.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Self-doubt, it also hinders like the self-toxicity, like, bro,
Yes.
I'm eating, what am I doing?
Right.
I don't know what to do and
Right.
whatnot.
So, and the thing is like, the other thing is like, if you feel like you're playing really badly in a game and the game is already lost, it doesn't matter. Okay, so, oh no, I've trolled up to this point. Okay, so what am I gonna do to kind of like practice? Like, you can salvage a game even if it's already lost just by getting something productive and testing and learning from it. I've had games where, like, you know, I have like a lever and there's like that 2-minute timer before you can leave. I always go in those situations and I'm like, crap, I'm just wasting my time. 2 minutes. But then I'm like, no. I have 2 minutes here where I can like practice my sleep darts, right? And I know I'm not going to lose. I know I'm going to lead the game in 2 minutes anyway. So I'm just going to go out there and like try and duel their Genji on a flank. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to get something out of it. There's if you look at it with that mindset, not like fake positivity, but really truly find the nuggets of value, it's worth
the silver line.
Right. There's always something that you can be doing, even in a 4v5 or when you've got teammates AFK and spawn. You know, there's always something that you can be practicing, even if it's just practicing your mental, right? But yeah, okay. Any questions so far?
No, not really.
Okay. Last thing I said for me is really the mechanics. You have main tank, can't aim, whatever meme. A lot of it is probably to do with the fact of your hardware, frankly. I've never met a player that couldn't aim physically unless they had something like legitimately wrong with, like, they had shaky arms or a medical condition. If you can't aim right now, it's just because you haven't practiced it, or you can't currently do it with the hardware that you're at. If you were ever to like upgrade your hardware and wanted to play hit scan and you want to improve your hit scan, you would be able to get good at hit scan, I promise you. So like right now, your mechanics might be weak, but it's probably not a huge issue. And if it is an issue, simply playing more consistently is the number one thing that you can do to improve it. Make sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I came from no first-person shooter background, and I played on a laptop, and I think I got a lot better with even those sort of limitations. Okay, I don't really have anything else. Is there anything else that you want to talk or go over before we hop into gameplay?
No, not really.
Okay, code. Is this the one you linked earlier?
Yeah. It's
okay,
the only one
up here.
It's mostly because of like the thing that caught my attention the most is the sheer tank matchup because, you know, gotta diff the tank, ooga booga.
Yeah, I hate that mindset so much. Why do you have to diff the tank? Why can't you diff their supports and DPS?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, see, the problem with that mindset though is because when you focus on diffing tank, it becomes an ego matchup, number one.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about that, because when you focus on, I'm going to diff their quote quote counterpart, it's a problem because number one, it becomes an ego thing rather than a practice thing, right? Because it becomes a personal thing. It doesn't need to be personal. Become impersonal. Just perform, right? The second thing is it doesn't factor in the potential SR discrepancies. Like, I'm looking at the enemy Rein, Extreme Horizon. What if Extreme Horizon is a high diamond player? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're not going to diff him. It's not happening.
Yeah, no, it's incredibly unlikely.
So your job is just to play well and to not get diffed as much, and then your supports who are higher ranked than the enemy supports will carry you, right? But just perform. That's all you need to worry about. And the third problem, and this is actually probably the most important one, is when you are playing Reinhardt into a Reinhardt, is the entire game decided by which Reinhardt shatters the enemy Reinhardt?
Absolutely not. It can influence a fight, but that's it.
You could get shattered every single fight, but diff the enemy Reinhardt just by your fire strike on the backline, the pins that you were doing, your shield management was better, you demanded less healing and did more damage. It doesn't matter. And Reinhardt versus Reinhardt is like the most egocentric tank matchup in the game. Winston versus Winston, D.Va versus D.Va, Zarya versus Zarya. Those guys don't even like, they're like ships passing in the night. They barely even interact with each other at all a lot of the time. Reinhardt versus Orisa. So screw the tank matchup. Screw the support versus support matchup. Screw the DPS versus DPS ego duel. I mean, even things like Widow duels aren't strictly ego oriented. Instead, focus on like what you need to be doing better in that game, or what you need to do in that game, and just disregard the ego stuff, because it puts your attention on the wrong things and can be more of a distraction that can be a benefit. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like it's like, sure, I can quote unquote diff the tank by, I don't know, blocking shatter and whatnot, but it's not the ego, it's just something that can be of help for the fight. And that's
correct. It's good value, right? I mean, the other thing too is like, what if this Reinhardt is silver and you diff him the entire game? Naturally, the game is expecting you to, but you needed to do more than that. You needed to diff the enemy Reinhardt and destroy the enemy backline because you're the highest ranked player on your team. So just play well. Play well. That's your goal. Okay. Here, you're purple. Yeah, this one was just a really minor thing. I mean, it's a little bit unfortunate. Your guy gets, you know, whatever. You have to counter pin. I think here it's just like respect the nade more, and I would be shield bouncing super fast as soon as I'm naded, right? You couldn't help getting naded. You couldn't help do anything that you're doing now. But this certainly would have been a situation where shield bouncing far back. You know what I'm talking about with shield bouncing, right?
Jump, hold shield, drop shield.
That's it. You could have created a lot more space between you and the enemy front line without taking too much damage. You probably would have survived here. You probably would have had to back literally all the way to point, but you could have won that. Okay. Oh, a little life hack with Eichenwald rollout. This is my Reinhardt main coming out. You can roll out right and slide along these planks and launch yourself to here.
Wait, can you? Okay.
You can. It takes a little bit of practice, but you can absolutely do it, and it's slightly faster than what you're doing because you'll land like further along. But yeah.
Yeah.
Now, here's a good question. Given the enemy composition, everything about Reinhardt's just kind of like walking forward, causing damage with your shield, or forcing people out of off angles, right? So like, right now, there's no real off angles. You're just kind of going in. Obviously, you're Maywalled, so I want to see you shielding as soon as you possibly can, right? But who is your target priority here? Like, let's not in the entire game, but like right now, who's your target priority? This big clutter on your screen.
Okay, my heart says Reinhardt, but my brain says either May to force shift if she hasn't used it yet, or run at the Mercy.
Right. Now, Mercies might be tough, especially if the Mercy's even halfway decent. Super Jump alone just completely really removes that. So I would say May. Why May and not Rein?
Because if a May, if a good May, like if a good May is like is low HP or doesn't have a shift, it's less likely to go aggro on me.
Yeah. Probably. Here's another question. Even if she does have shift, what does she do when she shifts?
She stands still. She's not doing damage to me.
Correct.
She's not slowing me down.
It's in your best interests to force her shift so that she is doing less damage to you, and therefore you can win the Rein trade. For example, if you keep focusing on Rein right here, that May just keeps doing damage to you. But if you focus May, you'll hit the Rein anyway, right? But you'll also hit the May, force her shift, and then that means that you're not taking damage for a period of time. Do you kind of see what I'm saying here? Very important that, like, if you're focusing, this is why we talked about the ego duel, right? If you're only focusing on Rein, you could outplay the Rein, but because you're focusing the wrong target, you're screwing yourself up. You really need to be careful here because the May wall. Okay. Got some good swings though. Now, what do you think about this pen?
It's the desperate need to look for a play, but I could have just chilled probably.
Well, let's not think about what you could have done, because we want to do what's optimal. Is this pin? Look at your HP. Do you know where your team is? Do you know where you're pinning? Does this pin make any sense?
I knew where part of my team was, not whole thing.
Yeah, they're close though.
Yeah. It's managed. It's decent. Yeah. Just to force chaos.
Do you have the HP to do this?
Yes, I do.
Do you have a safe? Are you going to die in the middle of the enemy team if you miss this pen?
Unlikely.
Can your team help you with this pen?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so that's it. Do it. Like really, truly, that's it. Just do it. The only problem here is obviously like
I cancelled them because I thought I didn't pin.
Can I be honest? Honest? You got unbelievably unlucky. I'm actually not even going to blame you. This is not a mistake on you. This is the game being really, really stupid. Like you missed the pin here, And then he gets, look at this. This is ridiculous. He gets suctioned into it. But you know the left shoulder rule, right? People get sucked into your pins on the left side.
Okay, yeah, true.
Right bonks them back, left sucks them in. So whenever you see people get like, oh, what? How did that pin me, right? It's always on the left shoulder, okay? Just kind of something to be aware of. That being said, this is ridiculous. This is not your fault at all. This is an objectively good play from you. And the funny thing is that even because it was a good pin, you actually still have a chance to survive this. In fact, again, it kind of comes back to like what you should be doing now. As soon as you're pinned here, get out, man. Like, get out, you know? I think we could have sweated a little bit harder to get out. So, no problems there. Let's keep going. Okay. That is, like, just ridiculous. That was so stupid.
Yeah. Also, if I'm silent for a while, I'm just taking some notes here and there.
Yeah, that's all right. Now, this...
Poor reflexes, that was so counterchargeable.
This needs to change. So, the getting walled here isn't bad. Like, there's not a lot you can do to prevent wall from happening, but you do need to be aware of it and responding appropriately. And the reason why I put so much emphasis on this is because obviously you're going to be playing versus Maze again. But the other problem is what if this Maze is Sombra and she's on your backline right now? You know what I'm saying? You need to respond appropriately. When your team is getting pressured or split off, or the enemy team is using powerful cooldowns, you need to what? What do you need to do?
Respond accordingly. I cannot just stand still and hope.
So what should you do? You know you're Maywalled here. What's the play?
Look for a side where I'm not walled off and be in support range.
You just needed to be able to disengage that one better than you did. Are you going to die because you used Maywall? No, but you lost a lot of HP. We don't like that. Okay, what do you think about this spin? Let's go down a checklist. Let's go down a checklist. Do you have the HP to go for this pen?
Yes, I do. The shield is...
Do you have the shield? Do you have the... Is it in a safe-ish position, and is your team in a position to help you?
The team is in position to help me, yes. Especially since...
Yeah.
And I have the HP. I don't have the shield. Also, I'm going to be honest. When I heard Nano, I instinctively thought it hit Rein, so I pinned to try and...
It doesn't matter. I mean, whatever. It works out either way. Even if you do pin the Nano Rein, it's still helpful, right? The only thing I would be careful about is obviously if you pin the Nano Rein, and then if you don't dodge his pin, then he will kill you with the pin, Nano pin. It's going to do a huge chunk of damage. But yeah, I mean, what do you think? So then, what do you think about this pin then?
Then it's okay. It's on the wrong target that I wanted.
I mean, it ended up being... I mean, it's kind of funny that, you know, the Nano Mercy, but yeah, I mean, it's fine with me. As long as you have the HP, you don't go into Narnia, and your team is in a position to help you. I'm totally fine with it. Nice. I assume you knew he had Shatter?
I didn't think on the fly, but every now and then I do check stuff. And take guesses, especially on Rein.
Yep, best way to block Rein is just to know that they have Shatter. Best thing you could do. How do you play versus a non-Rein? How do you play versus the Stiva? This is a bit of a trick question. It's not that deep.
Either, especially against the... Either I camp my backline and if Diva comes to my backline, I just fight her, or ignore her and run over the rest.
Right.
Probably.
Yep. I mean, it's the same thing when we were talking about like Rein versus Mei. Who are you focusing? Well, it's Mei. The only reason that we focus Rein a lot of the time is because Rein's in between who we want to get to, right? We wanted to go to Ana. We wanted to go to Mei. Rein's in the way. Let's beat the crap out of Rein so that we can get to Ana Mei. Well, guess what? There's no more Rein. So if Diva stands in front of you, you could beat the ever-living crap out of her, right? But if she flies away from you, that's okay. Control the Mei. Control the Ana. Threaten them. You know what I'm saying? That's what Rein wants to do. It's not that complicated. Like right now, is what you're doing bad? No.
Not really.
Who wins this trade? Rein or Diva? When both
Rein wins.
Rein wins. Especially when she's got Discord. Yeah. Even if she didn't have Discord, you do more damage, especially if you have heal support. You're going to whittle her down. But my question is, Is this the best target for you to be swinging on right now?
Probably not really, because Mercy is currently pocketing her, so it will take me ages.
Well, that's still good pressure, though, right? My question is, where's my Ana? Or where's their Ana? Where's the Mei? Do you see the problem?
Oh.
What's higher return on investment? You just swing on the Mei and force Ice Block right now?
Yes.
Probably, yeah. The focus on blocking sleep and nade from Ana? Probably, yeah. So my problem here, this is the tank diff mentality just a little bit. I mean, this is not a bad target to swing on, but this target is better. If this target is too far away, swing on her. But you didn't know that. That's the problem. Right now, still, go on the Mei. Go on the Mei. There it is. And you see that. Look, you see what you just did? There's the Ice Block.
Yes.
One swing, Ice Block. Keep focus on the Mei. Keep focus on the D.Va. There you go. Very important that you understand that. Very important that you understand. What's the biggest, most important, squishiest target that I can swing on with my hammer? You can't always go for the target that you want to go for. Like, for example, if they're on Ana, why haven't you swung on their Ana? Why have you not killed their Ana?
Not reachable easily in most cases.
Too far away. But you should look for opportunities to where you can get her. And so when you can't get to Ana, okay, Mei is the next best target. Okay, then no Mei, okay, then I'm going to go for D.Va, right? That's kind of the idea. Try it all.
Yeah, I don't know. They have like a Cassidy or a Reaper in front. Like,
right. And there it is, right? There's the Reaper, right? So, for example, if I'm playing around my team, my number one priority is who on their team? If they're frontlining.
Can you repeat the question, sorry?
If my team is with me and we're fighting as 5, who on the enemy team am I likely to be going to be swinging on first? Reaper, right. The funny thing is, especially at your rank, Reaper is going to be like, oh, I'm going Reaper to counter Reinhardt.
Yes. Yes.
Idiots.
Exactly.
Idiots. Any damage support from your team, random Torbjorn body shot, Moira right click, it doesn't matter, you force Wraith. Yep. So beat the crap out of him. Now, if you get Mei walled and isolated, be careful. But there's nothing fancy here. And I even like what you're doing with Fire Strike, right? I don't know if this would be different if this wasn't a D.Va, but do you notice your Fire Strikes here? You're not aiming at tank. You're going backline. It's good. That 100 damage matters a lot to this Mei. That is not fun for her at all to deal with. If you can get a squishy in backline. Go ahead.
She might also panic.
Yeah.
Same with Reaper and...
Yeah. I mean, there it is, right there. Look what you just did. Huge. Now, what does that mean for him?
That he cannot go either on me or on my backline.
Yep, and if he does, he dies. I mean, even with Shatter, right? Free Shatter on this guy, if he even goes anything aggressive. Yep, totally fine. Love to see it. Haha, nice. Nice. Nice Fire Strikes, too. I like when you really focus on aiming your Fire Strikes, because when you really focus on aiming, your mechanics are actually pretty nice. Like that right there, it's a good Fire Strike. I mean, it got eaten by Matrix, but it's fine. Now this next one I want to see aim for backline. And you do. Very nice. Kill him. I love that hero. Nice shot. Now, this is the weird thing. This is the really, really weird thing. You tell me what's weird about this.
What? Like, in this position right now?
Like, what could you do right now?
I could probably swing at the D.Va.
You could probably swing at the D.Va. You still got a little bit of armor, right? She's really low, too, right? Now, I normally wouldn't swing here, but she's really low, so I'm like, all right, right? Okay, I guess we're not swinging. Then, they Valk, and you get walled. And then we start swinging? Come on. I mean, that's a bit of a disaster, no? Yeah, not so good. You just need to know, like, it's a part of it's HP, but also part of it's like just understanding the battlefield. Always ask yourself the question, should I be swinging right now? Because you need to swing as much as you possibly can. As much as you possibly can, right? But then you never, ever die. That's the goal. So finding out whether it's Maywall or a Sombra on the backline, like we said, or like, let's say you're 400 HP, you're like, well, I don't want to lose all my armor. Well, why is armor so important for you?
Because it reduces the damage I take by default compared to normal HP.
Right, so you need less healing. So if you drop below, let's say 400 HP, I think that's the armor threshold. Is it 400? Maybe 350? I don't know. Anyway.
I think it's 350, but
okay. So either way, if we drop below that threshold, you start taking more and more and more damage. So for you, it might be, let's try and swing until I'm around 400 HP, then shield. And then swing and then shield. And swing, and you kind of see what I'm saying though, right? Staying at around that threshold. But obviously you get Maywalled there, and you act as if nothing's the matter. Crushed. What on earth is your Hanzo doing?
The strongest Pokemon plot.
What? Wait. Bro, that's actually...
the bow.
That's so stupid. That's so dumb. This happened to me the other day on Dorado. Same exact thing. I could not even see the bomb and it killed me. I'm convinced it's bugged in Overwatch 2. This used to never happen. Outside of like payload stuff. Okay. Let's walk. You know what she just did to you. Use your spidey senses. Use your peripheral vision. Sniff it out.
They just pulled me off. They just walked me.
Yeah, there it is. See, you should know. You should know, right? So then, what do you need to do right now?
Shield bot or shield
bot, and maybe even back up a little bit, right? Just create some distance between yourself and the enemy team. And then, as soon as that wall breaks, then what do you do?
I either hard swing or even a shatter can be.
Yeah, Cowabunga, right? It just feels a little bit slow to respond. And a lot of it is not even reaction time. A lot of it is you should know that that's what she's going to do. Right?
Yeah.
You should know. If they're on Winston and their Winston jumps to your backline, you should know that that means no healing for you and respond accordingly. Shatter is fine. You don't even need to get a kill. It knocked down the Ana and forced Ice Block. That's a good trade. Now here's a question. Where could you set up, like if you're playing Hanzo, Torbs, and Yata, where do you think your backline might set up?
Next to point, okay. My ranked brain would tell you next to point, but theoretically speaking, probably top of castle.
Could be. So what I'm saying is, at the very least, turn around and decide how do you want to position accordingly. Because if your backline goes high ground, you don't really need to hold here, right? You could hold high ground with your backline, prevent that Reaper and Diva from getting to them, and then drop onto the enemy team in front of your backline, right? Where you're running around in the arena and beating the crap out of them, and you've got range support from up top, right? The problem here is, well, what's the problem here? You've already seen the bird's eye view of what is actually happening. Do you see?
I'm overstaying my welcome there.
Well, there's
very little.
You're feeding. You have no help aside from your Moira. Your Torb, nothing. Turret, no. Hanzo, no. Zen, no. Barely even Moira. So you're going in. You probably should have just pinned all the way out, honestly. And now you're dead.
My thought process, I think it was to try and bail the Moira out as well. That's why I stopped charging.
Moira's faded.
But I didn't know that anyways.
Right.
So it makes no sense.
My point is that it's just simple. Like, this is the number one thing you could be doing as a tank. Fight around your team's positioning. Your team is positioning to high ground right now. You should not be fighting. You should either be going to them with high ground or sitting in AFK and waiting for them to get set up here or here or I don't know, way over here, right? And then you fight. This is silly. This is like, oh, I'm gonna try and help, and your Torp's trying to help, your Moira's trying to help, your Zen and Hanzo trying to help, but it's too late. You fed. And now this is almost an unwinnable fight. Well, big trance. You did get a kill. Might not matter though. Disaster. So for you, you have done a lot of fights where you have performed well, and then a handful of fights where you have been single-handedly the reason that your team lost the fight. So we need to remove those outliers. Now, I like this from you. I'm going to be honest. I like this. What would a stupid Reinhardt do? Right now. What would a stupid Reinhardt do?
Probably just int on the diva.
Right. Let's just go swing on the tank. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Right. Guess what? Who's the most dangerous and easiest target for you to clear out and pressure right now?
Reaper, because closer and on offense.
And he's a squishy too.
And
right?
squishy.
He's a squishy that you can reach. Now, if Reaper was all the way back here, maybe you just need to control the enemy backline and hope that your team can deal with the Reaper. You can't pin back on the Reaper too far away. I'm a little worried about Ana cooldowns here, to be honest with you, but you are doing the correct play. This is correct. And you can tell because you forced the Reaper to back up and forced the stupid Valk to go on the Reaper and not on the enemy team. It was good. Now find your corner. You know what you know what's happened, right? You know what's happened, right?
Fuck.
Yeah. Now you do a great job mechanically. Check this out. You hit the Fire Strike and you hit the Discorded Swing. So you know what? I'm okay with it. I can live with you as long as you're actually focusing the Mei here, which you were, but you know what's happening right behind you. So what you did was a good and a bad play. Just something to kind of keep in mind.
Like a bad play that turned good because mechanics, basically.
Yeah. I wouldn't even say a bad play. I think you execute. Here's the funny thing. I think your mechanics there were the best part. Talk about your bad mechanics. Your mechanics just carried you right there.
That's why I play Rein. Don't need to aim as much, except Fire Strike.
Now, this is what I'm not so sure about. When you pin back, you always give up something, right? Should you be controlling Diva and Mercy and Ana, or should you be going back for a Reaper right now?
Probably, should I trust my team that they can deal with Reaper?
Well,
because well, now if I pin, Diva has free space to go past Payload.
That's the problem.
Torbcam.
That's the problem. It's not a question of trust. Because do you trust your Torbjorn to be able to kill backline by himself?
Absolutely not.
Do you trust them to be able to peel off Reaper? I mean, the answer could be no to both. So ignore your team. Focus on selfish value. What's the most value for you right now?
Keep the Diva and the backline in check.
Probably yes. It's not very clear to me right now because if I turn around and look, I don't see like anything super aggressive. But my point is that it's not super clear. Something to consider. You do get the kill, which is very important. Just something to consider. I don't think peeling back on the Reaper in that particular instance was bad, but I just want to make sure that we know that that's not always like something that you should always immediately do. Uh-oh, she messed it up. Oh, poor Diva. Ha. You know what's funny? This is not even bad for you, right? Because you're in their backline, you've got full HP. Are you gonna pen? You want that shatter so bad. Oh, yeah. We should have hit that pen in the Diva or something. Oh no! We needed that shatter so badly. All right, I don't really know what to say here. This is obviously a very aggressive play. But you know, it's a high risk, high reward play. You don't get your shatter. You don't hit the pin. You don't hit the fire strikes to get the shatter.
I think the pin was just like try get out of jail. Get out of jail. Like it wasn't even aimed at.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this: if it's trying to get out of jail, where should the pin have been? It should have been like
left,
over here.
left.
Yeah, you know.
Left.
I mean, my point is you needed to hit the shatter. You needed to actually do something because again, thinking selfishly, you're on the flank on the backline with full HP and a shatter. Yeah, I can work with that. You know, that's an LH Cloudy play right there. That's an LH Diamond play is what it is. But you know, it just had to happen and it didn't happen. So GG's go next. Yeah. Okay. So what are some things that you're seeing so far? I'm checking our time here. We still got about 10 minutes. So what are some things that you're seeing that you probably need to improve at just a wee little bit?
Well, besides the mental part we said before.
Yes, that's the big
one. But don't just int on the tank 24/7.
Sure. Tank emphasis. Yep.
Yeah. Check squishes and the last few things you said the most, like be selfish in terms of what I can provide in terms of value, but let's say don't be selfish in terms of position. Like I cannot go like I was when we lost second point.
Right. You need to be selfless in terms of where is my team positioned, and then once you answer that question, you then immediately pivot to thinking selfishly about how can I get the most value while taking the least amount of damage, because that's ultimately what helps your team the most, not peeling them, right? Okay. That and maybe a little bit of anticipation about when you need to play passively and when you should play aggressively, whether that's your HP, Mei wall, something like that. But yeah, okay. Let's watch a little bit here. Because here's the other thing. This applies to this guy as well. Because look at this Orisa right now. Do you see what she's using right now?
She's using spin thing.
Do you see what else she's using?
That's Fortify, is it?
That's Fortify, yep. So what should you do right now? Think Maywall.
Wait, probably. Just play shield.
You don't have to do anything. You see, you're playing one of the least cooldown reliant heroes in the entire game. Obviously, you have Fire Strike. Obviously, if you have Shield, obviously you have Charge. But Rein is fairly consistent compared to heroes like Winston and Orisa and Mei and so on. So if you just wait this out, literally walk to this corner and just AFK and get healed and walk through this choke, you are at a massive advantage. Massive. You kind of see what I'm saying? Don't. Yeah. Because a lot of Reinhardts struggle with Orisa because, honestly, it's a bit of a noob trap. Like, if you're struggling versus an Orisa as a Reinhardt, you're just a bad Rein. Respectfully. So I'm not saying that's what you were saying, but I hear this from a lot of other Reinhardts. Right now, you don't need to do anything. Just wait out the Fortify, wait out the Javelin Spin. Yes, they're going to get Javelin and Javelin Spin back fast, but you can pin right through Javelin Spin. Just wait out the Fortify, then push back in again. The problem here is that you are trying to fight into an Orisa when you can't really earn it. So even though that Fortify is now down, look at your HP.
Yeah.
Look at your shield. Right? You're not really in a position to punish this Orisa as much as you should. So this is the problem, right? I mean, heck, you could have waited this out and pinned her into the wall now, but you don't have the HP to pin her now, do you? So it's a bit of a disaster. And remember also when she's fortified, she can shoot more. So she can also do more damage to your tank and to your HP, right? So, bit of a disaster. Nah. We need to get healed up. We need to get back in armor, and we need to go back in. We've been too much in this 50-50 crap, you know, where you're kind of standing there, kind of going in, kind of going out, not really sure what to do, and that Orisa is just melting you in your backline. That's just a horrible fire strike.
I saw Diana somewhere in left.
I know. I don't know. I don't think it would have even hit. Okay, you know what? Whatever. It wasn't the end of the world. Now, what do you think about this pen?
I didn't know if she had Fortify or not, so risky as fuck.
Terrible. You had the HP, you had the team follow up, but you didn't know if the pin made any sense. So no. Now, survive. You're up 1. As long as you don't die or take too much damage right now, this fight's won. Oh, no.
Tragic days.
Disaster. Okay. Blocking Javelin is very important as well. Why?
Because it removes the knockback, damage and just removes the knockback.
Why is the knockback important?
Because it stops me from walk forward.
And why is walking forward important for you versus Orisa?
Because besides Fire Strike, Orisa can just pew from far.
Right. You want to get close to Orisa so you can hit her with your hammer so that you can force what?
Fortify and spin.
Right. If she javelins you, she doesn't have to use Fortify. That's the problem. Now, I'm going to ask you another question here. Should you even be focusing Orisa at all here?
In hindsight, absolutely not.
Why not? Well, who else would you focus?
Actually, though,
it's tricky, isn't it?
Because I don't see a world in which I kill Orisa fast.
Do you need to kill Orisa first?
No, exactly. I don't see a world in which I do that fast, spin, Fortify, blah, blah, blah. But as of now, unless I just try and look for the orb right side. The backline is also pretty far away, so not optimal to reach.
Backline's too far, so you have to win the Orisa trade, right? You have to win it by forcing Fortify and then walking on her afterwards, and then if she either dies to you and your team or she backs up, and then there you go, right? Let me ask you a question. What would LH Cloudy do? LH Cloudy would win the Orisa trade, right? But what else would LH Cloudy do? Do you see do you see this?
Oh, would just run at the Ana and ignore.
The Ana's on the flank. Can the Orisa stop you from killing the Ana?
Not easily.
No.
Like Kenjavelin at max.
Major problem. Major problem for them to be able to stop you. They would have to chase you all the way across the choke. You could survive a long time, and your team just walks through the choke taking no damage, right?
Yeah.
LH Cloudy would win the Orisa trade, or LH Cloudy would go, oh, Ana's on a flank by herself. 3, 2, 1, pin. Cancel my pin to block sleep dart, kill the Ana. Right?
Yeah.
If you want to be LH Cloudy, that's what LH Cloudy would do. You need to be able to do it. If you cannot 1v1 in Ana, then you need to get good. And you need to practice.
Oh, absolutely.
You need to practice the 1v1 until you can. Because I'm telling you, this is the play. Haha. She messed up. I don't even think she used Fortify. I think she just got smoked. Oh, she did use Fortify. I didn't even notice. But this is what I'm talking about. Like this hero doesn't have... Where did her Fortify go? Did she just ego it? Yeah, she just messed it up. Yeah. So this is what I'm talking about. Like, this hero is completely made of glass. Look at this. Full HP, Javelin spins you out, bam. And you've got plat teammates. Good. Control these guys. Control them. Just don't die. Don't die. Don't die. Ha! Oh no! No! Oh, it's okay. We're good. This area of the map is cursed for pins, I think.
No, I think it wasn't even because I thought I didn't think I hit. I think it was more so I can stay closer to my team and can still solo the Ana.
I see what you're saying. Do you know what's better than staying close to your team? Immediately killing the Ana?
Yeah.
That's okay. That's alright though. I like this. It's good. Unfortunately, you got slept, but, you know, that's good. Helping your Zen get a little spam. There's the Reaper swap. We love to see it. Surely the Reaper will work this time, guys. Surely it'll work. We just know it. You know, this is helpful, too. Like, we talk about Rein versus Orisa. You don't have gun, but you can use your shield to allow other people to shoot the Orisa more. So, obviously, you've got somebody on cart, so, you know, you need to be careful. But this is okay. There's nothing you can really push right now, so just shield. Uh-oh. Did you even hear that? I didn't even hear that.
No, at least not on the video.
Let me listen. Oh, I did hear it.
Well,
okay.
No, I did.
I probably would have been looking for that tire, honestly. I don't know if you could have saved it, but it would have been worth a shot, you know?
Yeah.
Nice fire strike. I really like when I see your fire strikes. Like, yes! Yes! Yes, 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 yes. Now, the only thing you have to be aware of right now is what? This goes back to the second point defense thing. Remember when you fed? Where's your team?
Where is my team?
You know where your team is.
Dead.
Zen is dead. Right, Zen is dead. So I like what you're doing in theory, clearing out the Reaper, not just focusing AFK on the Orisa. But be careful your Zen is dead. So what I do here is, well, what should you do here?
Probably just... Okay, the first rate, I just chill and get healed and wait for them.
Yep. And if they overstep their welcome, they get too aggressive, you shatter them, right? So just chill. Because no.
Unfortunately, I knew it already.
No, you know, the thing is it, like, okay, I'm more mad that you even tried to shatter here. That's the problem. Why are you trying this? You're down Zen. Like, they're putting all their attention on you because you're down Zen. If your Zen was alive, this might have actually worked because the Junkrat would not have been able to focus on you without dying to your Zen. You kind of see what I'm saying? So you go, oh, that was unlucky. That was a stupid shatter. Yes, but it was harder than it should have been because your timing was bad. And your timing was bad because you weren't paying attention that your Zen was in spawn. Right? Yeah. And you're going to die for it. So, you know, disaster. Wait.
And then
no. Oh, you coward. You coward!
Yes! That's what Orisa is... It's not like one of the topics, but it's more I don't know what to do, I'm going Orisa.
Right. But you see, like, you've done so much here. You've just... You're indecisive, you don't push the right targets, you make mechanical errors, and you don't play around your team. There's nothing here that has felt out of control. Do you want to look at your reset? Let me see. Oh, no, actually, we're out of time. So I got to go to my next session.
Yeah. My main focus is Rein.
Okay. So let's type up our thoughts.
I don't know what to do.
We talked at the 50% way point, but let's reconfirm. What are your main points with Rein?
I'm gonna word it as it comes on top of my head.
Sure.
Play around my team, so get to know where they are.
At teams positioning pre-fight. Yeah. Yep, huge skill. Probably the most important tank skill that there is.
Yeah. On any tank.
On any tank. Yep.
Because if I'm Winston and I dive and my Ana is in spot, I dive and my Ana is in spot.
Right, or on a different high ground, right, or something like that. Because the thing is a lot of tanks get ego, not egos, but they think everyone should be playing around me. Sometimes that's the case, but sometimes that you're playing around heroes that you need to play around them. Because a lot of tanks are actually pretty flexible around your position. Like Reinhardt, for example, you need a choke in a corner. That's about it, right? And Ana, Hanzo, Zen, it's trickier, right? Okay, keep going. Sorry.
Well, that. Try and predict more. Actually, focus squishes. Like, don't always ego on the tank.
Always ego on tank. And I want to give you credit that this was actually not bad from you. I think you were pretty decent at it. Maybe it was just a good game, but I was overall, this is something to keep focusing on, but it was not a big weakness for you. You did a pretty good job of whether it was Reaper, whether it was Mei. I think for the most part, that was something that we can continue to do well. I don't know how your average game looks like, but this game in particular wasn't bad.
The thing is, like, one thing I'm trying to pay attention is, I've noticed compared to this game, it's inconsistency because, yes, focused on the squishes, check the squishes and whatnot, but it's like, I have the impression it's like not even something that I see squishes, I go squishy because it makes sense. It's like, I see target, I go target, period. If you get what I mean.
No, I know what you're saying. It's kind of like the brain just makes its own decisions. Yeah. Okay, makes sense. Well, we want to train the autopilot a little bit better so you do the right thing without thinking. Okay. Yeah. Anything else?
Nothing for position focus squishes. Predictions. With the enemy team's movement, like the maid's walking at me at the speed of sound, she probably would me off.
Sure. How about this? When can I swing? When should I not? Playing around enemy cooldowns / my HP. I think if you went through an entire replay code and just paused it at random times, it's like, should I be swinging? Should I not be swinging? That might be a fun, like, educational exercise for you. And you're smart enough to where you could answer that question accurately 99% of the time. And so then what you do is you would be able to go, okay, I swing too much in these spurts, or I wasn't swinging enough, right? And get better at training that instinct, if that makes sense. Yeah. We saw too many times where you were swinging too much when you should have been shielding because of Mei wall, your HP was too low, and so on. Or I mean, the first fight, right? Remember you got naded and you were still like you took a couple of swings. It was like no, back up, right? And then a couple times where you were not swinging when you had the HP and advantage to do so, like somebody with 1 HP, finish them off for crying out loud. And last thing I'll say is the pin checklist, which I think overall was pretty good, but just one is my team. Can my team help me? 2, do I have the HP for it? 3, will I end up in Narnia, you know? And if you can answer, you know, I guess, can my team help me? Yes. Do I have the HP for it? Yes. Will I end up in Narnia? No. Then go for it. And sometimes ending up in Narnia is not even a bad thing. It depends. You know, you've seen the LH Cloudy ones, right? You pin into their backline like a dive tank. Sometimes that's not even a bad thing. Especially if you got something like an Earth Shatter or, you know, whatever. But just something to consider. Okay. Do you have any questions?
This is not necessarily Rein only centered, but I suppose that tank centered the most. I have a screen in like 50 minutes.
Okay, sure.
So it can be of use. In general terms, as a tank, like does this apply to every quote unquote brawl tank? to focus on squishes. I'm thinking like Orisa, Zarya,
plays to every tank period.
Queen, every tank period. Yeah, no, like
focus
like
squishies.
Dive tank is intuitive.
Yeah,
the others
play around your team, focus squishies. When can I go aggressive? When should I not? Playing around enemy cooldowns, my HP. I mean, you could find a way to interpret that with every single one, right? Every single tank. Orisa, Winston, Jungler Queen, and so on. Right? Just replace swing with like, when should I go aggressive or go for a kill, if that makes sense.
Yeah. But the quote-unquote schedule, let's say, we didn't mention it, but I said it only at the start. I'm thinking 4 or 5 days, depending on my availability. 2 hours solo queue. Personally, like I'm not in a rush of climbing to like diamond or above because like at the end of the day, it's a game I play for fun.
Yeah.
That's the thing at the end of the day. But like, would you suggest just let's say going for my 2-hour session of solo queue? 2 games. There's a mental check. There's someone screaming at me in French or in German or any European language I don't understand. I don't speak. I speak 3. They're not enough. Like, should I just stop or continue and say focus?
If you feel tilted, take a small break, 5-10 minutes, walk around, then go back in, reset your mental, try one more game. If you still feel very tilted, call it. If you feel like you're a little bit more focused, keep playing.
Yeah. One thing I sometimes do to just calm is, I don't know, queue a DPS game. I'm bronze on the, so I just turn my brain off.
Sure, whatever works for you. But give yourself a chance, like mentally reset and try again. And if you don't do it, that's okay. Try again the next day. Yeah. Any other questions?
No, not on top of my head.
Okay.